It's been said that from those who have been given much, much will be asked. Now, this is another way of saying that an important part of thinking, being, and staying positive is not just to ask what can be done for you to have more positivity, but what can you do for others with what you have been given. The singer and songwriter Darius Rucker, in his song, If I Had Wings, he once said, "What will I leave that will go on forever? What can I do while I'm here to make someone's life better?" This lyric speaks to the theme of today's episode. So let's dive right in. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Positivity Now. I am your host, Jonas Kane, and we are on episode 7 of our 8-episode series of the 8 steps for thinking, being, and staying positive. Positive, of course, is the acronym. So for those of you who are just tuning in, or as a gentle reminder, we've talked about planning, playing, pursuing. We've talked about opening our hearts and minds, stimulating our passions, identifying our responsibilities, investing in worthy guides. Today we're on to step 7 for V. V is volunteer our gifts. Everyone has something to share. And it's something that we call the 3 T's of charity. We have our time, our treasure, or we, of course, have our talents. Our time can come in the form of volunteering, whether we volunteer on a committee, we volunteer in the community in some way, we volunteer at an organization, maybe counseling others. So that's one way to volunteer our gifts. Another way is with our talents. Maybe you have a special talent that you are uniquely poised to share your gifts with. That's one way. Then, of course, our treasure. This is one that most people think of, donating money. Right, or donating goods. Treasure has a loose term. It's suggested that if we want to find someone's true priorities of what they really value, you can look in 2 places. You can look at their bank account, or you can look at their calendar. And here's why. If someone values something, they are going to be willing to invest a financial investment into it. So that's why looking at someone's bank account, where they're spending their money, that's where their priorities are. However, by looking at their calendar, by looking at their schedule, this not only demonstrates care and value, but it also demonstrates commitment. Because time can never be replaced. Now, money, we could earn more money, we could beg or borrow more money, or we could steal more money, but that's not being positive. But money can be found in many places, but time will never be found again. Every minute we spend doing one activity is another minute we can't do anything else. So volunteering our gifts, it's not just giving money, but it's giving our time and sharing our talents. The nice thing about volunteering our gifts, there's 3 things that happen. Number 1, of course, sharing our gifts helps the immediate needs of those being served. But it also serves your own needs if you're the one serving, because you're now stimulating your passions. If you have a passion, you have a talent, you have skills, then sharing those passions with others, it stimulates you from the very core of what makes you tick. So it's a good thing for the giver and for the receiver. However, there's another aspect here. Nothing happens in isolation. Serving others by volunteering our gifts also helps those who are watching. There's always someone watching, whether we know it or not. And they're either looking to us for leadership, they're either looking up to us for leadership, or they're looking down on us to judge us. That's the society we live in. But when people see us volunteering our gifts to help others, it provides a sense of hope in those around them as well. It provides this opportunity to maybe open them up to volunteering their gifts as well. So it has many positive effects. And truly the full impact of a positive act, of being a positive influence, is something that we will perhaps never truly know, because the seeds we plant today will often not bloom until many days, weeks, or months, or maybe even years later. Even a simple act of smiling can set off a chain reaction unlike anything we have any idea of what we're really doing. We just think it's a smile, but to someone else, it could be that ray of sunshine in their darkness. In 1999, a 17-year-old student wrote the following words: "I have this theory that if one person can go out of their way to show compassion, that it will start a chain reaction of the same. People will never know how far a little kindness can go." Those powerful and beautiful words are from a student named Rachel Scott. She was the first student to be killed in the Columbine High School massacre of 1999. And a month before that happened, she wrote these words as part of a school assignment, talking about her personal code of ethics. After her death, her father, Darrell Scott, founded an organization called Rachel's Challenge, an organization that helps share ideas for sharing compassion and kindness to those in need. Even though it's been years since Rachel's death, by volunteering her gifts of kindness and compassion, her message, her few words have been shared to help over 22 million people worldwide. Seriously, starting a chain reaction just with a few kind words. If you're interested in learning more about them, you can check out their website, rachelschallenge.org. So the question becomes, how do we apply this step in a practical way to our everyday lives? The author Brendan Burchard, in his book High Performance Habits, once said that the world cares less about your strengths and personality than about your service and meaningful contributions to others. Now, this passage, I believe, suggests that instead of seeking to be a success in our world, we have to seek instead to be of significance in our world. Instead of pursuing the glory of selfish ambition, we should seek the honor of selfless acts of service. That's another way of saying, from everyone who has been given much, much will be expected. Now, the good news is you already have talents. You already have interests. You already have passions that position you well to contribute to the lives and add value to others in a truly unique and meaningful way. So the question becomes, how will you volunteer your gifts? One of my favorite artists, the singer and songwriter Harry Chapin, has a song called "What Would Happen to This World?" And there's a lyric from that song that beautifully illustrates this step of thinking, being, and staying positive. And I'll quote it here. It says, "If a man tried to take his time on earth to prove before he died what one man's life could be worth, I wonder what would happen to this world." Now, of course, he's saying it much better than that. But this really speaks to the significance of seeking to be of a significance rather than seeking to be of a success. Harry Chapin was a very successful singer in his time. At the height of his career, he was selling out concert arenas all over the country. But he saw his success and fame and celebrity not just to bask in it, but he saw it as an opportunity. He was a champion to fight for the cause of poverty and hunger. He saw poverty and hunger as a disgrace to our nation. So he started taking his ticket sales and donating them to charities. He started donating his time doing concerts for free, giving away merchandise sales to support these charities that would help feed the hungry. So this was a man who didn't seek to be of a success, but he sought to be of significance. So the question is, how can we be more like Harry? How can we volunteer our gifts to have a significance in other people's lives? I had a personal experience that really speaks to this step of volunteering our gifts, whether time, talent, or treasure. It was a number of years ago. I was in Springfield in the middle of the night, and I came across this gentleman who was asking for money. Now, we've probably all been in this situation. You're approached by someone in the middle of the night, you think you're going to get mugged, but instead it's a panhandler. Now, there can be many arguments for why we shouldn't offer money to panhandlers, but this gentleman had a compelling story, as they all do. But I was feeling especially charitable at that time in my life, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. So I decided to help him out. And this was his story. He said that he was trying to get his pregnant wife home back to Hartford. And they were in Springfield. They still had a good half-hour drive ahead of them, but they were out of gas. So all he was looking for was some gas. I said, "Say no more, sir, say no more." I took out all the money that was in my wallet. It wasn't much, but I gave him all the money that was in my wallet. And seeing that I had no money left, he was concerned for me. He turned the compassion onto me. He said, Are you going to be all right? You don't have any money left. I said, "Don't worry about me. In fact, I wish I could do more." And then I said something that surprised me. I said, "In fact, I can do more. I'm a magician. I do miracles." So I took one of the dollar bills back and I folded up so he couldn't tell if it was a 1 or a 5 or a 10. And when I opened it up again, it wasn't a $1 bill anymore. It was a $100 bill. You should have seen this man's face. It was all in his eyes. Whenever I perform magic, the question I don't like to receive is, "How did you do that?" Because they're placing the emphasis on the wrong part of what I'm doing. I want people asking, "How does that make me feel? How does that change me in some way?" This gentleman answered that question when I performed this for him. Just imagine if this was you. You're desperate. You need money to do whatever it is you're trying to do. You come across this person on the street, and he's turning $1 bills into $100 bills. This is literally a miracle. It's one thing to make a steak appear, but it's another thing to make a steak appear when someone's hungry. That's the things that miracles are made of. This man had just witnessed a miracle. He didn't ask how. All he said was, "Thank you." And he hugged me and he embraced me and he was crying. He was so happy because there was someone in need, and I was able to connect that person with the resources that they needed. That's the heart of what it means to think, be, and stay positive by volunteering our gifts, whether through time, talent, or treasure. Well, that's it for today's episode. Be sure to tune in next time where we'll talk about the last step in the process of thinking, being, and staying positive. But before you go anywhere, we have a special contest that ties into today's theme of volunteering our gifts. And this contest is where you get to win $100. Everyone yell, "Yay!" All you have to do is go to positivitymagic.com/contest to enter for your chance to win. But here's the catch. There's always a catch, right? Here's the catch. If you win, you're not allowed to keep the money. You have to give that money to someone else who you think is deserving of the prize. So think about who you would give the money to, and think about why you would give them the money, why you want to recognize them in this way. And then go to positivitymagic.com/contest to enter. I'll see you next time. Stay positive.